Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Hey, Nancy.
Hello.
I'm going to try to change my name here. Right, rename. Oh, Kevin's here.
There's Kevin.
Now, why did I disappear?
Do you have a little thing for your
Oh,
video?
there we go.
Hi, Kevin.
Hello.
Hi.
Just going to be us three, Kevin, obviously.
Is Ed not going to be here?
We can't have
Deb's-
4 of us at the same time.
Yeah, she asked about Deb. I think Deb is in
Oh,
the
Deb.
background there.
No, I said Ed.
Oh, no, we can't have 4 because it's a quorum of town council. So having the 4 of us from town council is interesting, but it like always has a backup.
Oh.
Kind of weird, huh? But it worked out. He couldn't come tonight anyway, so.
Okay.
So it's 6 o'clock. Kevin Carden, you want to take it away? Maybe.
Just
don't
read
have-
it. I'll read it. I'll read it. Want me to open it?
Oh, the prelude?
Yeah.
Sure.
Okay, this is a, shall I go ahead? And then Kevin can take.
Sure.
All right, this is a special meeting of the Ordinance Review Committee. It is 6:01 p.m. This is a Zoomed meeting. Note, until further notice, the Corporation of Harpers Ferry governing and deliberative bodies will hold its meetings and/or hearings virtually via Zoom webinar, which provides for public participation during a public comment period when applicable and when posted on the agenda. Alternatively, the public may watch by YouTube, video, live stream, or listen by telephone. These options comply with the West Virginia Open Governmental Meetings Act. The Zoom webinar link to participate in town meetings and hearings can be found on the Harpers Ferry website, meetings and events calendar. For further information on how to view and participate in town virtual meetings, go to https www.harpersferrywestvirginia.us. Miscellaneous/virtual meetings information.
That's a lot.
I didn't know if I had to read it all. Okay,
That's all right.
I turn it over to Kevin, chair of the committee.
Okay. Okay, we're called to order. Approval of the agenda.
I move to approve as presented.
I second.
Okay, and all
Aye.
in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Approval of minutes, the meeting of March 31.
Let me just pull those up real quickly.
I have it here. I move to accept the minutes as presented.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay. And I'm,
Kevin, I'm sorry, should I take draft off of that now and then just send them to you?
yes,
I-
please.
Okay. Okay. I'll do it at the end of the meeting.
Okay.
Since these are all my agenda items, if you don't mind, Kevin, I'll just lead into them and then we can have a discussion. I hope everybody had an opportunity to look at the material that I sent over earlier in, like, I guess it was last week. But the first agenda item deals with Ordinance Article 133, the Planning Commission. And this is a correction to our ordinance. Our ordinance currently reads, goodness gracious.
Want me to read it?
Sure. Just that portion, you know, that
133.02 A5 under Article 133. Nominations for Planning Commission membership shall be made by the mayor, appointed and confirmed by the town council. That's how it currently reads.
okay, and how it should read is, and I'm looking for that email that I sent you all
Wait, it was, let's see.
because it has everything just all laid
I
out.
think it was March 31st.
Wow, that long ago. I'm sorry. I should have my act together.
You sent an email to us on the 9th.
Oh, maybe that's it. Okay, I'm sorry. I was thinking of when the minutes were presented.
Yeah. All right, let me do it this way because I think it'll just be a little easier. How it should read. Oh my gosh, what did I do with all this information? I'm so sorry, guys. Because somewhere I had redlined each of the documents. Maybe it was,
Yeah, it's in all the stuff that you sent. Was that on the 9th then, Kevin?
Yes.
Okay.
I guess it was, PDF Article 133. There we go. Oh, my goodness. I try to be better prepared than this, so. And I don't know about you guys, but I hate it whenever I open all my PDFs and they all open on top of one another.
Yeah, yeah.
So what my recommendation is, it is 133.02 membership A5. Currently, it reads nominations for planning commission membership shall be made by the mayor and confirmed by town council. My recommendation for change and correction is nominations for planning commission membership shall be appointed and confirmed by the town council. And that is aligned with state code, and hopefully you had an opportunity to take a look at that.
Yeah, I looked at it and I looked at state code under section 8A-2-3. Well, that's under chapter 8A, land use, and article 2, planning commissions. 8A-2-3, municipal planning commission.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, and let's see, I think that's little I.
It is. Mm-hmm.
Nominations for municipal planning commission membership shall be made by the administrative authority and confirmed by the governing body when the administrative authority and the governing body are separate, or appointed and confirmed by the governing body where the administrative authority and governing body are the same. Now,
Right.
I know we've been over this road before, but I want to go over it again. If our administrative authority and governing body are we separate or are we?
Are the same.
No, the administrative authority and the governing body of Harpers Ferry are the same
How do we know?
because of state code.
I'll explain it. We are a class 4 municipality, right?
Right.
2,000 or less. All class 4s, unless you've adopted a charter,
Right.
must be what's called Plan 1. And that's a form of government.
Mhm.
And Plan 1 is the mayor town council form of government. And the mayor town council form of government says that the administrative authority and governing authority are the same. So the short answer to your question, we're a class 4 municipality, we're a Plan 1 form of government, Therefore, we are the town, the administrative authority and the governing authority.
Okay, all right. Well, that is clear. I don't guess I'd seen Plan 1 in our things, because I wanted to know, which ones we are if we
Find it for
don't
you
have a
real
charter.
quickly.
If we don't have a charter, but you said if we don't have a charter, then the Plan 1 kicks in,
Always, yes.
That's the default, right?
default. All right, so then, should it not say nominations for the Planning Commission membership shall be appointed and confirmed by the governing body?
What I did was
Because that encompasses the whole kit and caboodle of what Plan 1 says.
And the town
What-
council is the governing body.
it is the governing body and it's the administrative authority. Basically, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying, I suppose we could if we wanted to say governing body, but I'm trying to not take liberties with state code, because what you're going to see here is somebody in the past has, and it changes things. So I just went, why reinvent the wheel? State code very clearly says appointed and confirmed by the governing and the body and administrative authority. But I don't have a problem one way or the other with you guys.
Well, this would be more in line with what the state code says if they are, or appointed and confirmed by the governing body, where the administrative authority and governing body are the same.
Mhm.
Okay, I'm
So
fine with that.
Governing
And
body,
our governing body is officially titled the town council.
but it includes administrative authority, the mayor.
Mayor is not the administrative authority.
No,
This is a big deal. Okay, let's talk about this for just a New York minute. Whether the mayor, the recorder, and all 5 town council members share the same authority, the same administrative authority. What the mayor has, he has administrative responsibilities, administrative oversight.
Yeah, and those are enumerated. I've seen that.
Yeah, it's a
And
little
I've
bit
seen
different than
what-
administrative authority.
And I've seen what's enumerated for the recorder, which is out sort of a little separate from then the town council members, but they're all considered now under Plan 1, the governing body. So I think it would just be,
I can change it to just governing body.
yeah, I think that would be rational.
If you want to write this down, Barbara, or I can print it and email it to you, but the West Virginia code that tells you about class 4 towns are Plan A.
Mhm.
It's 8-3A2.
8-3,
Yeah, 8-3 big A
3,
dash
section 8-3A.
dash 1 and 2, basically. And then when you read that, it'll be real clear.
Okay, thank you.
Sure. Okay, so before we just go a little too crazy, I want to make sure that I've got that worded correctly. Are we in agreement that instead of my language saying administrative authority, we're just going to have it say governing body?
Yeah. I think it'll be nominations for planning commission membership shall be appointed and confirmed by the governing body.
Kevin?
uh, I would leave it at town council, because somewhere down the road, somebody is going to have this same discussion again.
Conversation.
What is the governing body? Well, the governing body we know is the town council. The administrative authority is the town council. If we leave it at town council, it's very clear what that means. Nobody can question that when they're reading this portion of the ordinances. Otherwise, people are going to get into a discussion. What is the governing body? And then they're going to have to go back to state code and read it again.
Okay, so are you recommending then that we amend it to read appointed and confirmed by town council?
Yes.
Well, I see it.
Oh, yeah.
I see it totally opposite, that it says here that when the administrative authority and governing body are the same, it's appointed and confirmed by the governing body.
Town council.
Mhm. That's town council.
Administrative and administrative authority.
So that's the same answer, it's still town council. So that's my recommendation.
Okay, so what comprises the town council?
The town
All
council
7 of
is the
us.
mayor, recorder, and 5 regular council members.
Okay, let's be clear on that then.
I
think no matter what we say, somebody in the future will have to go back and have this argument again.
You know what, somebody should be real damn familiar with West Virginia State Code and our ordinances. But appointed and confirmed by town council, are we in agreement so that we can make a motion to move it to town council?
That's what I would recommend, yes.
All right.
Well, I don't like it, but
You don't like appointed and confirmed by the town council?
I just thought governing body is more in embracing and follows the language here in the town state law.
All right.
Give me just a moment. I want to look something up. Give me just a second.
Appointed and confirmed by the governing body.
All of our other, by the way,
Okay.
all of our other ones also say town council, so I'm not prepared to change all of our code tonight.
And ordinance section 111.01 and 111.02 state that the town council consists of 5 council persons plus the mayor and recorder, and the town council is the governing body of the town.
Mhm.
Okay, well then that looks like it points to the answer, right? Read that again. 130 what?
111.01 and 111.02.
Just out of curiosity, does either one of those say that the town council is also the administrative authority?
It does not, but state code, of course, does.
Yeah, I know. Okay, so, sorry, Barbara, 2 against 1.
I'm just saying that I wanted to be as accurate here and reflect state law as possible. And but if we are using, could you read 1101, 1102, 11101, 11102?
111.01 says the town council consists of 5 council persons plus the mayor and the recorder, elected at large by the qualified electors of the Corporation of Harpers Ferry. 111.02 says that the town council is the governing body of the town.
Okay.
If you go to State Code 8-3A-2C2, it says the mayor and council are the governing body and the administrative authority.
Right you are.
Okay, all right, I concede.
Okay, thanks, Barbara. And the other thing too, not to beat this dead horse, but the other thing too is that all of our 100s that deal with historic landmarks, that deal with BZA, they all say appointed and nominated by town council.
Mhm.
So this is just keeping in line with everything else that we have as well.
Yeah, when this portion of the ordinances of 133 was written, it looks like somebody misinterpreted what type of government we have in Harpers
agree
Ferry,
completely.
because under a different plan of government, the administrative authority and the town and the governing body, the administrative authority and the governing body are separate.
Right,
And the administrative authority nominates, the governing body appoints.
right. And I got the same thing. It looks like they started reading West Virginia State Code and they just didn't read quite far enough. They needed to read one more sentence.
Well, you have to look at like 3 different sections of code and interpret how they all fit together to really completely understand what's going on here.
That's probably what in the past, in the dim past, all the way up to the present, sometimes confused people about whether the mayor had a vote or not had a vote. Well, if they're all part of the same governing body, as we do, as Kevin calls a roll call, that's indicative of what the governing body consists of. So
Both the mayor and the recorder may vote, but neither one of them have to vote.
Right.
But they may if they choose to. And the mayor typically, if he's the chair, or she's the chair, the mayor typically reserves the last vote in case he has to be a tiebreaker.
Right.
So I move that ordinance Article 133, Planning Commission, specifically Article 133.02A5 membership, be amended as presented, and recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for their review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting. I'm taking that directly from the agenda request form. Kevin, I can either send it to you or you can take it yourself.
If you can send that to me, that would be
Sure.
great.
Sure.
Thank you.
okay, I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And number 2,
Number 2 is Article 134, the Board of Zoning Appeals. Let me find that in my email. Currently, the first paragraph, it reads on the 3rd sentence, enforcement of any I'm in 134. The 3rd sentence reads, enforcement of any ordinance or rule or regulation regarding the use of land or premises within the incorporated areas of the town. Now, Kevin, I'm guessing that because ordinances, rules, or regulation, I'm guessing that's all in caps because we're referring to our ordinances. Correct?
right.
All right. If you compare it to state code, I just opened the wrong thing. Heaven forbid. It says, I hate this when it just keeps layering stuff. I'm so sorry, guys. I'm going to open this differently. All right, what it all really boils down to is, for whatever reason, we have taken enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule, regulation adopted pursuant thereto, and we've just made it ordinance or rule or regulation regarding the use of land or premises. Let me give you an example of why it should stay with zoning instead of use of land or premises. Let's say somebody came before the Board of Zoning Appeals and they had a sign permit. The way we've written this regarding the use of land or premises, it leaves out potentially all that sign stuff. A sign isn't necessarily a zoning. I mean, it falls under zoning, but a sign isn't necessarily the use of land.
Yeah, I think it's too generally stated there. I mean, the use of land could mean turning the sod over for something. So
I don't know why we came up with use of land or premises, why we didn't just stick with enforcement of any ordinance or rule or regulation regarding the zoning within the incorporated areas of the town? Because the BZA handles all zoning matters.
There's some history here, and I can't explain all of it because the planning commission was involved more than any other body with the amending of our zoning and subdivision codes in 2013. And Mark Sad helped rewrite all of this.
I don't disagree, but I mean, I don't know why. Certainly zoning covers the use of land. The word zoning covers premises. But it also covers those 6 pages of sign ordinances that we have under 1316. And right now, this is actually inaccurate.
Yeah, I agree. And like Barbara said, use of land really is too general. Use of land could be if you wanted to plant a big garden in your backyard, then the BZA would have to approve it. I mean, you could interpret it that way.
So basically,
So
my recommendation, go ahead.
There is certainly a problem here. But I'm trying to remember all the discussions we had and all the material that was presented to us about why this ordinance was written the way it was and why the BZA was given the authority that it was given. It was more than just zoning. There was a comprehensive overhaul of what the Planning Commission, the Historic Landmarks Commission, and the BZA were to do.
And I don't think we're changing that. As a matter of fact, we're not changing that because use of land, just the way that's worded, falls under zoning.
Right, but
Premises falls under zoning. We're just correcting it because so does all that sign ordinance falls under zoning, but all that stuff under the sign ordinance isn't the use of land or premises, but it's all under part 13, our zoning ordinance. So we're not really changing it. We're just making it align with state code to say zoning.
Yeah.
BZA has oversight of zoning matters.
Right.
And then you get a little further down, we're going to separate these, but you get a little further down under 134.08. Same thing, I think. That whole sentence there was a part of it left off that made it not make any sense. So this is what it says right now. Made by an administrative official or the planning commission or rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto.
Doesn't make sense as a sentence. I didn't.
Exactly. So they left out made by an administrative official or the planning commission charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted pursuant to thereto. So once again, I'm just going to state code, which is exactly what that says.
Shall we vote on 134.01 first and then go to 134.08?
Let me see if I broke, but we certainly can. Kevin, and should we vote on those separately? Or they're under 134.
I would. We can vote on those separately, as long as I think that when this is presented to council as an ordinance change, it should be one ordinance, in other words, 2021-05, I guess this would be.
Okay. And I actually.
But we can vote on the individual changes individually and then present it all as one package.
Yeah, and our agenda item says ordinance article 134, so we're still under 134, but we're
Yeah.
just voting
Right.
on each
Yeah.
one, and then we can present it all as a package.
Give me just a second to read something here. I'm looking at the
Sure.
state code. Hear, review, and determine appeals. Okay, there should be a strike there that's not there. I see. This was confusing me. So it should say administrative official or the board charged with the enforcement of the zoning ordinance, and then all the rest of that.
Where are you? Are you 138, 08 or 01?
No, I'm actually looking at 8A-8-9,
Mhm,
1 in state code.
mhm.
Made by an administrative official.
And it says our board, in our case, our board is the planning commission, administrative official, our planning commission, charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto.
Yeah, if we just add charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance, then it doesn't really make sense. So we have to wordsmith a little bit here.
I don't think that's what I
Are
did.
you on 08? You're on 08.
Yeah,
Oh, wait,
and I don't think that's what I did.
No,
When you
no,
read what
you added some words.
when you read 08,
mhm.
I added charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto.
Were you striking anything from that subsection?
No,
Okay,
no,
that's
I just
what we need
added.
to wordsmith, because if you read it, just add those words in, made by an administrative official or the planning commission charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance. What we're actually trying to say here is made by the planning commission or an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance. You see what I mean? Switch those two things
guess.
around.
Okay,
Okay, then read the way you think it should be. Hear, review, and determine.
I see what he's saying. It just
It
reads
should say
better.
determination made by the planning commission or an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto. It still aligns with state code, but state code doesn't say planning commission. It says the body
Board.
charged with, or board charged with the enforcement, because they're generalizing in different municipalities. That could be called the planning commission. Somewhere else it could be called something else.
Okay.
Here it's
I
called
see
the
what you're
planning
saying
commission.
now.
So
So all you're doing is reversing the words administrative official and the words planning commission?
yes,
Yes,
But what difference does it make since they're only separated by an or? Why?
because if you read it with just the additional words, it doesn't make sense.
right.
It says, or the planning commission charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance.
Right.
What we're actually
It makes
trying to
sense.
say is the planning commission or the administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning
Exactly.
ordinance.
You are right, and what you're saying makes perfect sense. It's because in the state code, Barbara, they weren't naming a particular body.
Well, I understand that. I understand
And
that.
so it made sense for it to read an administrative official or board charged with the enforcement.
Right, I
But
understand.
when I read it this way, administrative official or the planning commission charge, it loses its meaning. It should be the planning commission or an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance. So Kevin's right in your wordsmithingness.
Well, I can see it that way, but when I track it, okay, I'm just being a contrarian, all right? When I track it with the language in the state law where they use the word board in a generic sense, and we're using the word planning commission in a specific sense,
Mhm.
if we dropped in the word planning commission where the word board is, in the state language, it says an determination made by an administrative official or planning commission, where we would drop that in, charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation, comma,
Yeah.
state language has a comma there, or
Right.
rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto.
You actually said the key word in your first sentence, generic.
Generic, right.
The moment you said
Whereas
generic,
we have a
bingo.
proper name for that board, that's planning commission.
Yeah, I know. All I'm
If you reverse it in state code, there's no change in sense. If you say administrative official or board, or you say board or administrative official, it's the same thing.
right.
Because they're both generic.
And here, that board is the planning commission. When you say or the planning commission charged with, it just doesn't make good grammatical sense.
I know you're right, but I just wanted to argue how it aligns.
For the sake of arguing.
I just wanted to
You're
argue.
playing devil's advocate here.
Just wanted
I just want to argue. That was the Monty Python, the argument clinic. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. No, you didn't. Yes, I did. You have to watch Monty Python to understand that. Okay, so I haven't made a motion, but I can. And I'm just going to say it out loud so that everybody, because it got a little confusing though, so everybody can hear it. The change is determination made by the planning commission or by an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto. So therefore, I am going to make a motion.
Okay.
That motion is.
I second it.
Oh, wait, I haven't made it yet.
Oh, I thought you just did. I thought you just did.
You're killing me. Okay, I move that ordinance Article 134, BZA, specifically Article 134.01 establishment, be amended as presented and recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for their review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
Can I second that?
You can,
All
or you
right.
can argue.
I second it.
Okay. And
I will
is
send it
that
all
on
to
the agenda?
No, I will send it to you
Okay.
and the language.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Okay, so now if you go down to 08, really it's the same thing. Oh, that was 08.
The first one was 134.01.
Right. That's establishment.
Yeah.
I just made a mistake. It's significant enough that maybe I should change it.
What, in the motion or what?
Yeah, I said, the motion I just made, I referenced 134.01. And I should have referenced 134.08.
Well, I thought you were doing 131.
Well, you said
on zoning.
134.01 as presented.
Yeah,
And
that's
that-
what we said. And that
Yeah.
Establishment. Okay.
establishment. We're okay.
That's-
And so
that's the one.
134.01, I think, yeah, we're okay with that as presented, right?
Yeah.
Okay, but the-
134.08 is the one that we need to
but that's the one I
them.
just read. And same thing, actually, it doesn't matter, as presented, you're right. Okay, so the next motion is, I move the ordinance article 13408 BZA, powers, duties, and authority, be amended as presented, and recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for the review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
It's not as
Not
presented
as presented, yeah.
because we made some switcheroos. We,
Yes, but I read it out loud. Right before I made the first motion, I read it out loud. So it's being amended as presented.
Yeah, I think you need to read it as
is, as,
be amended to say,
Okay, all right. I move that ordinance article 134 BZA, specifically article 134.08, powers, duties, and authority, be amended to read, hear, review, and determine appeals from an order, requirement, decision, or determination made by the planning commission or by an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted pursuant thereto, and recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for their review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
I second.
okay, give me just a second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carried. And was that all for 134?
Yes. So
Wait a minute, do we have,
next is 1328.
wait a minute, do we have, C? That was, 130. Oh, wait a minute, never mind. Never mind. I'm ready to move on.
Okay,
All right, 138. Okay, so
1328.
I'm sorry, 1328. Okay, appeal to the Board of Zoning Appeals. The very first line is wackadoodle. An appeal from any order, requirement, decision, or determination made by a decision-making body or official of the town. That is so out of line with state code. I have no idea where it came from. But basically, Ken Sayer has said recently that it's wrong. The BZA does not have the jurisdiction or the authority to overturn town council decisions.
Right.
And so I'm recommending that it go back to state code, which is an administrative, decisions made by an administrative official or the planning commission, and we're gonna have to reverse those,
Mhm.
charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted under the zoning ordinance. Does that make sense to, I think it makes sense to Kevin. Does it make sense to you, Barbara?
Yeah, we're adding some language almost lifted directly from the state code.
Exactly.
Right.
Except that for the word board, we're putting planning commission and we're reversing them like we did before.
Exactly. But we are striking a decision-making body or official of the town.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. And so we're really doing that in A and B2.
Oh, we're reversing those as well, right?
Exactly.
And we're striking a decision-making body or official of the town again.
Mhm.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah, and
C, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt. The changes we're making here are directly from state code. I'm comparing the two right now.
Exactly.
So I don't,
Okay.
yeah, it's a really good question. Where did this other language come from before?
I do not know. But it's like I said, very wrong. So I went all through here and I didn't see anywhere else in 1328 where it made that sort of reference. So I just found them in, the first A, B, and C. So
And C, you are adding the word administrative, decision-making body or administrative.
right,
official, and that comes from C, from the state code,
and
88810C,
mhm,
where it says administrative official.
mhm.
Okay.
So now let me find.
Well, should it be there?
I started to add it somewhere else and then I went to state code and it wasn't there. So
What wasn't in state code?
there was somewhere else further down where it also just referred to somebody as an official. And I went to state code and that's what was in the state code, just official, not administrative official. So I just left it alone. Here we go.
Hey,
Go down to stays and exception. And just read just read the first sentence A for a second. When appeal has been filed with the Board of Zoning Appeals, all proceedings and work on the premises in question shall be stayed except as provided below. A stay may not be had if the decision-making body or official from where the appeal was taken certifies. So at first I started to add administrative official there. And then I went to state code and state code reads identical to what we have. So I took it out. That's what I was trying to say earlier.
Yeah, because it's referring to the official
Who made the decision.
who made the decision, right?
Exactly. So I have not changed anything except this little section right here because it's in line with state code.
all right. Let me throw something in because I'm losing track here of all these tentacles.
Mhm.
Under, let's see, upon C of 132801 C.
Mhm.
Upon request of the Board of Zoning Appeals, comma, the decision-making body or administrative official. Now, up above, you struck decision-making body in A and B. Why not strike it in C?
Yeah, it should be the planning commission.
The planning commission. Okay. So you want me to make it read the same?
Yeah.
The planning commission or administrative official. I see what you're saying.
And if you go back to 132803, stays an exception where we were just talking about official there, where it says decision-making body, that would be the planning commission as well.
Yeah, because we've struck it under every other circumstance. We struck it under A, we struck it under B.
All right, so let's think about this for just 1 second. Is there any other decision-making body besides the planning commission?
That this would apply to? Would it apply to the Landmarks Commission in any capacity?
If the, and I think that we should be careful of that. If the Landmarks Commission ever got back to doing certificates of
Appropriateness?
appropriateness, then yes, it could. So I don't even know why the planning commission was stuck in instead of board, but it was. So I think I'd be a little bit careful of that, because there might come an opportunity when the although historic landmarks is a recommending body, the planning commission still has permitting authority on very rare occasions.
Mhm.
The historic landmarks doesn't have permitting authority. But if somebody went before historic landmarks and historic landmarks made a recommendation to the BZA, still it's the BZA who has the final determination on a matter. See, this got real screwy because we have a permitting authority that is now the Board of Zoning Appeals never should have been a permitting authority. Anybody who wants to appeal now has to appeal to Jefferson County Court. Because the BZA is the permitting authority. Get it? No?
Where is that?
All right, well, I'm going in the weeds a little bit here, but in every other municipality, the planning commission is the body that issues permits
Mhm.
for things. In some municipalities, the historic landmarks issues certificates of appropriateness, but still, I think it's the planning commission who issues the permits. So if, Barbara, you wanted to build a fence and the planning commission refused to issue you a permit, even though you had met everything, you would appeal that decision to the Board of Zoning Appeals. Well, now take the same thing in Harpers Ferry. You want to put up a fence and you have to go to the Board of Zoning Appeals or the administrative official, who is the OCO. If the Board of Zoning Appeals has refused to issue you a permit, you don't go to the Board of Zoning Appeals to appeal. You have to go to Jefferson County Circuit Court.
Yeah, that would be the next logical step. So how did that happen that the Board of Zoning Appeals, unlike other municipalities in the state, has become the permit issuer instead of the adjudicator?
Well, this was all done under the whole 2013 to 2017 Planning Commission Mark SAD. I don't know why it happened and we can't change it now. That's not right now, but it made a problem. So now we have the ordinance compliance officer who can issue a permit, and it can be appealed to the Board of Zoning Appeals. But can any other body besides the planning commission and the administrative official, who's the OCO, and the mayor, see, that's another thing, the mayor can issue a permit. So that's why I would leave that alone. Let's talk about that for a second. If the decision-making body could be the mayor, or official could also be the mayor.
Yeah, that would be official, not the body.
Oh, you're right. So the official could be either the OCO or the mayor. The decision-making body would be the planning commission for sure, it could be.
Right.
But is there any other body that can be a decision-making body on zoning matters? All of this is zoning. I don't think so. But it would be historic landmarks would be the only one who possibly could.
So how does that affect our thinking with A and B
Well,
as well as C? Because we're going around and around again.
well, decision-making body has to come out of here because the town council is a decision-making body.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I
so
mean, it does have to be struck. So that's, yeah, in order to be concurrent with, or not concurrent, but what's the word?
let me see what state code says. Hold on.
A and B.
State code doesn't, this 1328.04 section doesn't have a, there's nothing in state
reference.
code that, yeah.
Yep, you're right. That's why I didn't attach it. Like, there's nothing. So
It ends at stays an exception.
Mhm. So anyway, I'm perfectly fine changing A, B, and C. And I suppose, you know, if you're going to change it to planning commission or administrative official, you could go through the whole document and do it. I can change the entire document where it says decision-making body and change that to planning commission. And look at the 1328.04. Every decision or order of the planning commission or board of zoning appeals within 30 days after decision order by the planning commission or board of zoning appeals.
Yeah, and
Very limiting.
from the planning commission, it should go to BZA. It shouldn't go directly to circuit court.
Right. And there, again, there's very, very, very few times that's going to happen with the planning commission. But the moment you don't account for it.
Hold on just a moment. I may have found something else that figures into this. Why is my internet so slow? It's taking me forever to load pages.
That's okay, I'm
State
reading
code.
this.
While Kevin's looking, waiting, Nancy, when we go back to 1328.01A, are we talking about reversing those two words
Planning commission would go first.
first? Yeah.
Our 1328.04 is directly from state code, West Virginia code 8A-9. And in 8A-9, it actually does say planning commission.
Yeah, I've attached it to the email that I sent you. Nope, hold on, sorry. Oh,
I don't think we got that.
no, I was wrong.
That's weird.
So the question I guess I have for you guys is we've got these three changes in A, B, and C. Do we also make them in 1328.03?
Let's see.
1, 2. Yeah, 1 and 2.
Mine is slow too. Wow. Come on.
So maybe it's the state server or something.
Mine, it looks like it's frozen in one spot. It's not going through. I'll just have to listen since Nancy has it pulled up and I can't get mine pulled up.
Actually, I don't have state code pulled up.
Yeah, it's taken forever to load. So I'm guessing maybe the state server is, maybe there's something going on there.
I'm gonna click out. Let's see.
Hmm.
And now it's
Yeah.
not loading at all.
Yeah, mine's not loading either, sending a message. It's not secure. Something's going on. Well, we do have in front of us everything we would need for 1328.01, but not the other one that you identified.
Well, I mean, it's up to you guys. If you want to take a look at 132803 in paragraph, in section 1 and 2, it also references decision-making body.
I have it in hard copy.
That's what I'm trying to compare to state code now, and I can't because
Okay, I've got a hard copy of 132803. Is that stays?
Yeah,
And which one is it? What number? What A and
132803, and then it's under B, 1 and
under
2.
B?
1 and 2
Oh,
both
okay.
refer to decision-making body.
The decision-making body or official from the.
I mean, it'll work because our only decision-making body is the planning commission.
Well, yeah, and it says if the decision-making body, well, let's put in planning commission or official from where the appeal was taken. That could be some other unknown right now. It could be historic landmarks or if that should ever happen.
I'm okay leaving it alone until we talk to maybe Ken Sayer.
So it's B or where's the other one?
It's B 1 and 2,
B1 and 2. Okay, I'll circle those.
and I don't see it anywhere else as you go through. I mean, everywhere else in this, even when you go down to the next one, 04, 132804, we keep referring to the planning commission. But
Yeah, it's an odd mixture. Well,
well,
then
132804 is a direct copy of what state code says.
right. And in most places,
code
the
actually
planning
says
commission
planning
is the
commission.
body who would have permitting authority. So when appeals been filed, the board all proceeding. If the planning commission or official from where the appeal was taken certifies in writing the board. I think we leave it alone before we make some recommendation to the town council that, you know what, we can always come back to it rather than change it and be wrong.
Although it seems like it would be right in line with what we're talking about now under 1328.01.
Okay, so what was that? That was
I'm amenable to whatever you guys want to do.
I think we leave 03 as it is.
I agree that I feel very comfortable changing 01. Very comfortable because I mean, we have a source to go to, but I don't have that source in 03, and I would not want to make a recommendation to town council without being real certain. So let me figure out how to word this. Okay. On my motion. I move that ordinance Article 1328 appeals, specifically Articles 1328.01A and 1328.01B 2 appeal to BZA be amended,
Did you want to include C?
not yet, be amended to read the planning commission or an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted under this ordinance shall be filed with the Board of Zoning Appeals. And recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for their review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
What did you just do A and B?
Yep.
Well, but A is worded a little differently than B because
Do I need to do all the three of those separately, Kevin, then?
I think you should because
Yeah, I think so,
Okay.
because they are slightly different.
All right, then I'm just gonna go, it's gonna take a little bit longer, but I'm going through each one of them separately. So I am taking my motion back and I move that ordinance Article 1328 appeals, specifically Article 1328.01A, be amended to read an appeal from any order, requirement, decision, or determination made by the Planning Commission or an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance or rule and regulation adopted under this zoning ordinance shall be filed with the Board of Zoning Appeals. And recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for their review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
I second it.
Kevin?
Yeah.
Are you,
Okay,
okay, go ahead.
yeah. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Are you drafting or do you need me to email them to you?
If you can email them to me, that would be great.
Okay, okay. I move that ordinance Article 1328 appeals, specifically Article 1328-01B2, appeal to BZA, be amended to read, be filed within 30 days of the written order, requirement, decision, or determination made by the Planning Commission or an administrative official charged with the enforcement of a zoning ordinance, and further recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for the review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
I second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carried.
I move that ordinance Article 1328 appeals, specifically Article 1328-01C, appeal to BZA, be amended to read, be amended as presented, and recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for the review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
I'm going to ask before I second this. It has the word decision-making body in there. Didn't we say that we were going to change that to
Planning Commission.
Okay,
planning commission?
strike that. I move that ordinance Article 1328 appeals, specifically Article 1328-01C, appeal to the BZA, be amended to read, upon request of the Board of Zoning Appeals, the Planning Commission or administrative official shall transmit all documents, plans, and papers constituting the record of the action from which the appeal originated, and recommend that the matter be forwarded to the town council for the review, discussion, and action at the May regular town council meeting.
I second that.
Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion is carried.
So now comes 1304. Is it remotely possible that after 6 years, we can get this back in front of town council for the third or fourth time?
I'm not so sure, because what I was able to find and send out to you guys did not have the last what we just determined, if anything, on our last meeting that I knew of, January 2020, January 24th, 2020. We had an ordinance review committee. It was on the agenda, but I don't have the outcome. I didn't get a chance to talk to you, Kevin, today before to see if you had notes or minutes from that.
You know what? I know that I did have, and they're probably on my old computer.
You know what I would like to say at this point? That we table this and have another meeting where we deal with it.
Okay, I will just tell you what I remember. So in December of 19, the Planning Commission, moved this matter to the town council for consideration.
Mhm.
At the town council meeting, there were two people who stood up and objected to two things. Mitch Flynn Yost had an objection to graphics on the construction fence. And Chris Craig didn't really have an objection, but this ordinance amendment also deals with retaining walls. And he felt like maybe there should be some sort of engineering specifications in the retaining wall. But while I appreciate that from Chris, this is not where that information would go. Our ordinances never get into engineering or specifics of how to build something. If we decided to do that at all, we would do it in Exhibit A.
Appendix A.
I'm sorry, Appendix A. So I wouldn't put it in here. And the conversation on graphics, okay, so construction fences are typically for large scale projects that have to be closed off for safety measures. When you're doing a house renovation, construction signs are allowed in the yard. The largest is a 4-foot square. So, you might have somebody who's doing a construction project and they'll have Dolye Construction or Joe and Sons, whatever, construction in the front yard. A large scale construction project can't do that because it's too big. You're gonna run over it, whatever. So a graphic on a fence would be something like, and by the way, they're professionally done. They're silk screened onto the mesh that they put up on the fence. An example might be, do you know how you have those things in the back of your car or on your windows? It might be a flag and you can see through it. But there's an image that's been silk screened onto it. That's what a graphic is. It's a professional silk screen on a mesh. And large scale projects do it usually to say coming soon or show a history. Take the hotel out of the equation for a second and pretend that somebody finally bought the Shipley School down on Washington Street. That's had a construction fence on it for ever since I've lived here. But let's say that was going to be a workshop or something like that, or a community center. A silkscreen graphic on the construction fence, an example might be coming soon, community center, approximately 2023. So as a body, we can say, no, we're all opposed completely. Or we can say, yes, this is a good idea, limit it to professional screens, limit it to a certain size. And by the way, sometimes those screens are 5 feet by 6 feet panels. I mean, they're large. Yeah.
I think at that meeting,
Mhm.
at a meeting that we had thereafter, there was some language offered that said there was some language that kind of defined with the graphic not being, but upon approval of review and approval of historic landmarks or planning, there was something that said upon review and approval.
It should be the BZA. It should be either the ordinance compliance officer or the Board of Zoning Appeal approves such a graphic. I would encourage that, certainly. And we can have this discussion.
And that's a zoning thing? I don't know if that's a zoning thing.
Well, it is because here we go. It's signs, 1316.
Yeah.
and construction fencing. Actually, quite frankly, we can take this out of 1304 and put it in 1316. Because with construction fencing is one thing. Putting graphic imagery on construction fencing is a sign.
Yeah.
The only catch here is that usually these panels, these screens, they're mesh and they are part of the fence itself. So they don't hang it on the fence, I don't think. I think it becomes the construction fence. So anyway, we can table this for another night, but it probably should be dealt with. Again, 6 years that I know of.
Those exempt signs, 1316.02 exempt signs. Hmm. Funny.
Kevin, what are your thoughts on,
It
I
says
understand-
here,
Go ahead.
I'm sorry.
no, go ahead.
Under exempt signs, 1316.02 exempt, letter J, building construction signs in accordance with 1316.11 of this article.
That's, where is that?
That's,
13.
start with 1316.02 exempt and look at letter J. It then points to 1316.11, which my fingers can't find. Construction signs. Construction signs may list company, corporation, individual name or names, communications information such as phone numbers and email addresses and types of work expertise offered by the company or individual, and may be placed only on private property with permission of the property owner where and when works. Construction signs may not exceed 4 square
4
feet
square feet. Mhm.
and are limited to one such sign at each site.
Right. So this is very different. I mean, and the reason I think it's in 1304 as opposed to 1316 is because, as I understand it, these mesh panels, they take up one whole segment of a fence. They are the fence itself.
It's 13. Oh shoot! Now I'm really getting gummed up. 1304.
I'm having some weird internet problems here,
Me
so
too.
I
It
can't
took
pull
a
that
very
up right
long-
now.
It took a very long time for that to load for me as well.
And you're saying it would go in 1304.02. Why? Now that I'm looking at the others, why?
Hold on.
Okay, I'm sorry to ask this, but now that I've finally gotten this pulled up, can you please explain that again about the 1316?
All right.
Because I want to follow along with what you're saying.
Well, I just found, if you look at 1316.02,
Right. I'm
exempt
there.
signs, go down to letter J, and it talks about building construction signs in accordance with 1316.11. So then you turn
Right.
over to 1316.11. And there's A, B, and C. But B explains a whole bunch of stuff about what a construction sign may have on it and its size.
In which, where?
1316.11
Right.
B.
B. Okay. I thought you said D, and I was
Oh,
thinking
no,
there's no D here.
D.
I think this has to be tabled. The ordinance that you found and sent, Barbara, that dates back to January of 19, and I feel certain that it's not the most recent version.
No, I said I know it wasn't. It was,
Oh, okay.
it was January 24th, 2020.
Yeah.
January 24th, 2020. And that's where my file stopped. And I'm sure that there was,
That's right. Yeah.
there was, and that may have been where we came up with a little segment of saying,
I feel bad, but can we just agree that we don't have enough information in front of us to have
Yeah.
a really intelligent conversation about 1304?
yeah, we need
Yeah,
to
just-
fill in from January 2020 forward.
Yeah. At the I just had this up and I don't know where it went now. But at the January 2020 town council meeting, oh, here we go. Town council meeting where we brought this forward for discussion. It says Mayor Bishop has some concerns regarding proposed ordinance 2019-03, which was this ordinance. He will send those concerns to the ordinance review committee for further review. And that was the last thing.
What date was that? January what?
2020.
January what, 2020?
13,
Oh.
Huh?
13.
Okay, so we met then on January 24th. After that, the Ordinance Review Committee, we had a special meeting on January 24th, 2020. And that was number 1 on our agenda about, well, regulating fences. Wait a minute. Yeah, what, regulating fences?
Mhm. Fences and retaining walls.
And I imagine amendments regulating fences may have had to do with that brouhaha about graphics and information on the on some kind of wraparound.
Anyway, if we can't talk about this and nobody has anything else, I would like to motion to adjourn.
I agree.
That was
So
quick.
kind of, I had suggested doing it before we even got started.
All righty. Kevin, you all right with that?
Yeah, I think so.
Well, shall we though, before we adjourn, we're in the discussion here, decide what it is we need to prepare ourselves with before we address this issue again?
Well, I can certainly find the last version that the planning commission sent to the town council. And I do know that the town council had Chris Craig and Midge comment. What I don't know is what took place during your January meeting, because I wasn't on the ordinance review committee. I don't think I was at that one. I went to a couple of your meetings, but not all of them. So I can't find what happened, but I can find the last one that the planning commission sent that people weren't happy with.
Yeah,
So I will do that. If one of you two will look for any notes that you had from your January meeting.
January 24th meeting.
Otherwise, we just start again as though that's the first one. Another thing we might do is think about other things that, like little tranches of other ordinance changes that have been coming before the committee, but we haven't been able to address. So I kind of like doing these in small pieces.
Yeah,
So if you have other small piece ideas or that has been put out there, but we haven't addressed yet. A huge one is the home rule law and short-term rental. I can't, that's a great big one that should be done. But here we are at the legislative session. Maybe something's going to happen with that law, but for 2 years, we've not been playing by the rules.
Well, it
So-
would have had to have happened already. The legislative
Oh my
session
gosh,
is
it's
over.
over. Okay, all right. All right, so you gonna make us vote on adjourning?
All in
oh, I
favor?
second it.
Aye. All righty, thank you.
7:28 PM.
Aye.
Thank you, bye.
Thanks. Good night.
Thanks for your time.
Thank you, everybody.